Our series on the first 100 days of the Trump administration continues tonight with law and order. It was a big rallying point for the maverick Republican candidate. Now we get to see if he meant what he said. Senior correspondent Rick Leventhal takes a look from New York.
654 emergency.
The thin blue line, the men and women in uniform, were a focal point of President-elect Donald Trump's campaign.
To all law enforcement in America, we are with you, we support you, and we will always stand with you. We love you.
Now, as Mr. Trump prepares to move into the White House, officers across the country say law enforcement should remain a top priority.
What I care about, and I think that what the administration, what the Department of Justice, Homeland Security, what everybody cares about is, do people feel safe? Are people safe in their neighborhoods where they live? And that's what we're trying to accomplish.
A key component of Trump's 100-day action plan to make America great again is centered on policing.
Restoring Community Safety Act reduces surging crime, drugs, and violence by creating a task force on violent crime and increasing funding for programs that train and assist your local police who are doing such a great job, believe me.
His close advisors say President Trump is willing to use the power of the office to get things done.
It's incredibly important for people to feel like they have the resources in the neighborhoods. And for those who say this is heavy-handed federal government, they have to realize when you're the president and you can give voice and visibility to people's concerns about law enforcement locally and crime and safety in their communities, that is leadership.
The dangers police face on the job has been one of Mr. Trump's biggest talking points.
An attack on our police is an attack on all of us. Law enforcement is the line separating civilization from total chaos. You have to remember that.
At least 62 police officers have been killed by firearms in the line of duty already this year, a sharp increase over the 41 gunned down in 2015. This rarely leads to protest marches.
Who do you serve? Who do you protect?
But demonstrations against police involved in shootings of civilians have become commonplace in America's biggest cities, even when investigations show many of the suspects were armed or resisted arrest.
There's this expectation of the public that if the police are trained well enough, every encounter we have with the police will end just fine. And that if it doesn't end fine, it's because the police officer did something wrong. Well, that's just an unrealistic standard to put on any cop.
Tom Manger is chief of police in Montgomery County, Maryland. He's also president of the Major Cities Chiefs Association and says the challenges cops face in today's environment has made it tougher to find qualified applicants willing to risk their lives in the face of hostility and intense scrutiny.
The fact is that oftentimes when we're dealing with someone out on the street, it's up to them how the encounter goes. We can do everything as best we can to de-escalate it, but sometimes the person we're dealing with just doesn't allow that to happen.
Mr. Trump's plan promises to pump more money into local police departments for training and equipment, but civil rights advocates worry the president-elect's support for stop-and-frisk policies could lead to more hostility between officers and the communities they patrol. Because, as the ACLU's Jeffrey Robinson argues, studies have shown the vast majority of folks targeted under the policy have done nothing wrong.
You cannot stop crime by stopping and harassing innocent people. And there is no legitimate business in America that would come into your community or mine and say, we have a product with an 80% failure rate and we want you to buy it.
Ultimately, criminology professor Jack McDevitt says communities need to work with police, and police need to conduct themselves within the framework of the law.
They're putting their lives on the line for us every day, and it's hugely important that we do support them. But we also have to understand they're people too, and they make mistakes like all of us do. And so a blanket support isn't helpful. We give them one of the most important responsibilities in our society. We tell them that they can use force, and they can, in very rare circumstances, take a life. And to give them that responsibility comes with accountability, and we have to be able to hold police officers accountable when they cross the line.
The nation's largest police department, the NYPD, has put additional focus on sensitivity training and community policing, hoping to improve the relationships between cops and the people in the neighborhoods they patrol. And other agencies across the country are following this lead. It's still not clear how a Trump administration might influence this trend. In New York, Rick Leventhal, Fox News.